Hi guys, so we're back for the third day. Episode 1 was called Friday the Father. Episode 2 is called Saturday the Son. And when we started the series premiere, as the show was beginning, it made a big point to call it summer. So I don't know if that means there's going to be various seasons in the story, or what. Something I did look up because I knew that the male lead character was someone that looked very familiar, and it turns out it's Jude Law. So like super big actor. And the pub owner slash, it's not really a hotel, maybe more like a bed and breakfast because they have one room extra. I believe his name is Paddy Considine, and I know he's been in quite a few things as well. If you guys have some trivia or details you'd like to share with me, post some comments. So far, it's been very interesting, very mysterious. The main character, Sam, I think he went into the forest. It might be something he does every year. It seemed like it was sort of a family ritual, but he was doing it by himself to honor the death of his son, who I think may have died at that stream in the forest. So maybe he goes there every year on the date of his son's, or it could have been a daughter. It didn't really say whether it was a son or a daughter. It's just the shirt seemed like a small boy's shirt. Maybe he goes there every year to the site of the death of his son to honor him. And he put in some earbuds to listen to some music. I'm not sure if that had any special significance, if that particular music just moved him, or if it was playing when his son passed, or maybe it was a special song that had meaning to him and his son together, like some happy memory. It seemed like that was part of his remembrance ritual, which is what I'm calling it because that's what it seemed like he was doing. And then while he was there, trying to honor the memory of his son, it was interrupted by the noises of the girl and a little boy. And of course, she hung herself with the help of a little boy. And he rushed to help her, and it turns out she's the one that he saved. And she lives on an isolated island away from the mainland, a very small island called Osea. And there's a causeway, a land bridge, but it's covered up whenever the tide is in. So you can only cross at low tide, or it just disappears completely under the water. So once they crossed, he only had, I think, like 20 minutes or something to get back to the bridge so he could cross it before it went underwater when the tide came back in. Before they crossed over to the island, she gave what I took as the warning number 1, the first warning. And she said, maybe you shouldn't come. I feel like it was a setup in a way, like maybe she was there to lure him to the island. But if this was a ritual he did every year to honor his son, that could have been documented on the internet. He could have said it in an interview. The wife of the pub owner said something about she'd seen him on TV quite a few times talking about his son and about, when he lost him. So I'm thinking that if somebody wanted to, they could probably pretty easily find out that every year he goes to that stream to honor his son, and could plan something around that. It just seems too convenient that this girl did that right where he was having his remembrance for his child. Once he crossed over with her a second time, she said something about he should leave. So I took that as it was a second warning that he needed to get off that island. And I think she felt a little bit sorry for him and about misleading him and duping him into coming to the island. If in fact that's what's happening and it's all sort of a pre-planned trap to get him there, that's the assumption I'm going on. I feel like, her job was to get him there, but she feels bad about it because she thinks he's a nice guy. And then she had him take her to this pub. The owner of the pub said he should get off the island. And he was overly nice, like super nice, like sugar, that sweet, like suspiciously sweet in a way. But he also did the same thing. He said, you should get off the island before you can't leave. You need to get off before you can't leave. So I took that as the third warning, sort of like 3 strikes, you're out. And the next time someone said something to him about it was the wife of the pub owner. And he said something about leaving, and she just said straight up, you can't leave. But the way she said it, you can't leave, it was sort of ominous. She was a little bit of a gruff character with some sharp edges and a sharp tongue. The term fishwife comes to mind. The pub owner said something about her being a strange fish. And of course they are on an island, and they had a fishing type industry. I want to say they had a coral reef or something, and I don't know if it died. I'm not sure what happened, but he talked about them having a run of bad luck or bad times, and that the population was suffering because of it. And so their livelihoods seem to have been somehow drastically affected. So they're having a big festival, and this festival also seems like it's a big ritual. It seemed like they were having the festival to try to bring good luck and turn their fortunes around. And so a couple of things about that. It was a really freaky, like they had these weird, they're like effigies, and there was one represented a man and one represented a woman, but they were strange looking. And the girl said, and also the pub owner, that it was some kind of I think she called it Jesus in the sea, but he called it Isis in the sea. It seemed to be some pagan ritual. And when he gave her a bottle of water when they were in the car, she asked for salt to put into the water and then drank it. That was just really weird. And it made me wonder, is she like a mermaid or something, a fish person? And then the pub owner called his wife like a strange fish. So, and the girl said something about everybody there was either sea or soil, having to do with the sea or the land. And so I'm thinking she's a sea person because of the salt, because the sea has salt. So I don't know if they just mean farmers and fishermen, or if literally the sea people like live part of their lives in the sea. But I'm guessing everybody that lives there pretty much either lives off of the sea or lives off of the land. So I'm guessing that the pub owner's wife is also a sea person, just because he called her a strange fish. Also, when Sam was offered a room to stay in and he went upstairs, the bathroom had like salt coming. It seemed like salt was coming out of the bottom of the sink pedestal. And he went in there a couple of times, and like the next time he went in there, there was even more salt. Like it had gone all the way to the wall, just a huge amount. So he was offered a room. They only have one room, but it had already been given away apparently to a woman. And I don't know if she's part of this whole thing, or if she herself was lured there or is a victim. So she's either part of the plan, like she's in on it, or maybe she's part of the plan unawares. All of these village people seem to be in on it, whatever it is, in on it together. The pub owner, the other thing he said was that he and his wife had gotten pregnant like 7 times, but that none of them came to term. They put him in the room with the woman, and the guy said it was a mistake, but maybe they threw them together on purpose. Maybe they sort of planned as a fertility thing. Maybe they needed a man and a woman. Maybe part of the ritual that they're performing on the island is not just to help with their seabed. Maybe it's also a fertility ritual to help the pub owner and his wife get pregnant. Maybe other people on the island are also having trouble getting pregnant. The girl's father, the pub owner, said he was a farmer, so he must be of the land. He just seemed to be like a little bit out of control. But there was this old dude, white-haired dude, that just almost instantly calmed him down. I'm guessing that's the head honcho, the head guy, right? We found out that Sam's grandfather or great-grandfather was on that island, like during World War I or World War II. So what I'm wondering is, could it be that Sam's grandfather or great-grandfather founded this colony, or was one of the founding fathers of this colony? And this white-haired dude, could it be that Sam is related to him? I wondered, had he been there as a little boy, but just doesn't remember? Like maybe he blocked it out for some reason. Maybe he left when he was very young. I don't know if it was an amicable leaving. Maybe his mother fled with him. I'm wondering if, maybe he's related to the white-haired dude, and is the white-haired dude like the head honcho or something. The pub owner, when Sam told him that there was a little boy there, the pub owner said that there were no little boys like that on the island, that he couldn't have been from OC. They got him like super drunk, like to the point of almost like passing out drunk. And they said the drinks were on the house, and they had this big party and got him like super, super drunk. And freaky thing, like satanic, demonic type thing, the super nice, super friendly pub owner was in the back hall, and the pub owner went back there to do something and saw him, and they greeted each other with like a upside down backwards version of crossing yourself, like you do in a Catholic church. It was like the complete opposite of it. It seemed to me that was satanic. Are they witches? Are they a satanic cult? Is there some weird sea god that they worship? There's obviously some strange stuff going on with the salt. The whole village came in with the specific purpose of getting him drunk. And they sang something. They said, "This is for you, Sam. Swim, Sam, swim." If the causeway's flooded, that would be the only way to get off the island. So one more thought I had was, is there going to be something where he's going to try to run away, but the causeway's flooded, and he would have to try to swim? And maybe they know that would be his only option. Maybe they know that because they've done it to other people before. But something really weird happened. He seemed to have some kind of vision. I don't know if it was a flashback or if it was a vision, or like, is he remembering something, or has he seen a ghost? He saw that little boy again, like during the day on the island, and he followed him for a little bit, but it was like he couldn't catch up with him. And then after they got him drunk, it's like he had a vision of the little boy again, and he was following him again. And I'm wondering if that was actually, if he was seeing him himself as a child. And whatever it was really, really freaky. There was like mutilated rodents and stuff everywhere, and then there was like a vision of like blood everywhere with the kid, but then it showed him where the kid was and blood everywhere, and he seemed to be screaming silently or something. Maybe he was remembering something, like maybe the memories are coming back, and whatever it was like traumatic. And at the end, he went back to his car to get something before going back to his room, and he pulled out this bag, and all this money fell out of it because he'd been burgled, right? $40,000 had been stolen, and he lost out on this big planning commission deal because of it. That's like the last thing to leave you with. Did he steal the money? And he was just pretending to be burgled? Or did the people on the island steal the money and hide it in his car so that it could be recovered later? But did they steal the money as part of, to like put him in this very extremely stressed out state? Because he just seemed to have thing after thing happening to him that had just like escalated his stress. So, I mean, it's got to be one or the other. Either he stole the money and stashed it there, and maybe he was planning to run away with it, or they stole it in an effort to escalate the stress he was under as part of a way to keep him on the island. I guess we'll find out. That was the end of the last episode, and he was on his way back to his room. The low tide is going to be at like 7 something in the morning, and if he misses that, he can't get off the island. So the pub owner said he would wake him in time for that. I'm wondering, will he really wake him in time for that, or will he forget and the guy will oversleep and then he can't get off the island? Or is that woman, since they're sharing a room, is that woman going to do something to entice him to stay, or to make him feel bad about something and make him stay out of guilt? Either out of interest in her because he's attracted to her, or out of guilt. I guess we'll find out. And if you're watching with me from home, you'll definitely need your own source of the show to watch, so you can watch along with me. For fair use reasons, I can't broadcast the show while I react to it. What I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, play. and then we can start this together, and you can watch at home along with me, and we'll find out what's going to happen in the next episode.